back on Adapt and Respond. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Which coach do you believe, head coach, won the offseason in 2025? I think you got a lot of good candidates here, as we've had a lot of movement like we expect the last few years. And we've also had some continuity, right? And I think you can make a case for many coaches here. Like, for instance, I would say Steve Sarkisian could make this list because he succeeded in keeping his staff intact and keeping the core part of his team intact. Those that could not go to the NFL chose, for the most part, to stay. Michael Taft is back, right? Arch Manning's going to take over at quarterback. C.J. Baxter is like getting a guy out of the portal because he was hurt all last year. Christian Clark, too. Ryan Wingo's a year older, didn't hit the portal. Anthony Hill's coming into his own. I think that you can make an argument for Texas staying together as and healthy. Steve Sarkisian winning in the offseason. You can make an argument for Penn State. They got Jim Knowles after losing Tom Allen. They're able to, again, like Texas, keep a lot of the core of that 2024 team in Penn State, right? We're talking about Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, Drew Aller, Denai Dennis Sutton, names that you're getting to know, like household names, very quickly and soon. But for James Franklin, the offseason has never been the challenge. It has been beating top 5 opponents. And I'm going to continue to hit this until it changes for them. You can't be 1-15 against AP top 5 opponents and expect that not to be the headline for your season going into a year where people are picking you to be the number 1 team in the country, to win the national championship. I think James Franklin wants it. And you can see that in the coaching. You could also see that he wants a tough team. He'll choose to run the ball whenever he can. He'll punt it and ask the defense to go play ball for him. We'll see, right? Drew Aller's got to grow up. And I mean, he's got to stand up in the biggest moments. Can he do it? He hasn't been able to do it so far against class football teams. Maybe that changes in 2025. I think LSU is also a team that you could say made this list for what Brian Kelly was able to get out of the portal. They're so friggin' fast on the outside. They got speed everywhere. We're thinking about Barian Browning. We're thinking about Nick Anderson. A couple guys going to be able to take the top off for a 4,000-yard passer in Garrett Nussmeier. Caden Durham is going to be a dude at tailback. Blake Baker has them Weeks boys back, and Harold Perkins, right? Getting Harold Perkins to return to LSU can't be overstated. And if you put him back at edge and just let him go destroy people, I think that's going to be best for all involved. They had a young secondary last year. That's an experienced secondary this year. They expect to compete for a college football playoff spot, if not the SEC championship, because remember, that is the reason that Brian Kelly left his job at Notre Dame to go to LSU. He thought that he had a better chance of winning the national championship as a head coach in the SEC, particularly at a program like LSU, where money's not a thing. You'll have all the money and all the support you need to go win. And they've been able to do this with 3 different head coaches in 2 decades. That is about the program. That is about the university. Nick Saban, Les Miles, Ed Orgeron, 3 dudes that could not be more dissimilar. And yet they were given the resources they needed to win it their way. And that's exactly what happened. I think that can happen with Brian Kelly in 2025. But the guy that I want to linger on here, that I think is at the top of the heap, is Curt Cignetti at Indiana. And there's one really simple reason for why Curt Cignetti has won the 2025 offseason. We're talking about Indiana as a really, really good football team. And we don't care that he turned the roster over. We care that Curt Cignetti walked in December of 2023, told people at a cellar dweller, at a program that has been as useless as useful as a chocolate exhaust on a Formula One car, to the Big Ten, that all I do is win, right? In the DJ Khaled voice of Google me, I win. That's why you want to come play for me. He went and got the guys that he needed, put them together on a team, called them the Hoosiers, sent them out in the battle, and those dudes won 11 games in a program that had not won 10 in a single season. A program that was as much a joke in football as any in the sport. And they're quickly becoming a team that people are going, hey, you're just going to have to deal with them. They're here now because they got the guy. Again, your program takes on the persona of your head coach. Curt Cignetti's persona is confidence. Earned, by the way, confidence. The man who won 11 games or more in 4 out of the last 6 years. James Madison, right? People going, oh, it's James Madison. But they showed up and were monsters right away. Right away in the Sun Belt, what they call the little SEC, right? Making it happen. Gets to Indiana, and his only losses are to the 2 teams that play in the national championship game. He's got another good veteran quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, 3,000-yard passer. He added guys like Roman Hinby to the list. Did he lose Donovan McCulley to Michigan? Yeah, he did. But he also returns 11 of the 16 starters from last year. This is a team that can win 11 games again. This is a team that we expect to compete toward the top of the Big Ten again. Now, they may be joined by Illinois, or they may be overtaken by Illinois. But you're going to talk about Indiana in the same conversation with Oregon, with Ohio State, Penn State, because you look at also their schedule, and it's choice. It's choice. You got to go to Oregon. I think that's the toughest game on the schedule for Indiana. There's every reason that Oregon and Indiana could be 10-win teams and could be playing in the Big Ten championship if things go their way. Again, Ohio State is huge over there, massive, but they have not won the Big Ten championship since 2019. They'll make the college football playoff, but they ain't got to win the damn thing, right? They ain't got to win the league championship to get in a way that, say, Indiana didn't have to either. They lost to Ohio State, and they still saw their names called. Did that mean they had to go on the road to play a Notre Dame team in the national championship game? Yeah. But it was that, wasn't that dissimilar to what Ohio State had to do last year. They just got to host the home game. Now, if you put Indiana in that home atmosphere, what can they do in Bloomington? Can they make a run? I don't think it is too much to say. I'm impressed. I truly am. We're also at a very cool part of college football. As people want to decree name, image, and likeness and revenue sharing and what happened to an education, I'm saying, have you seen how volatile the sport has become and how much fun that has made it? Freaking Indiana's good because they could use the roster turnover to their advantage. All they had to do, as if it's simple, is identify the guys they needed and get them into Indiana. That's it. You got money there. You got people that wanted to invest in the program, and now they have every reason to, and they want to stay there. Meanwhile, Michigan State's still trying to figure it out. Meanwhile, Wisconsin is trying to figure it out. Iowa, they're back to figuring it out. Purdue in the bottom. Minnesota back to trying to figure it out. Here's Indiana right here, right? Right here, right now. Going to be a lot of fun to watch them play. We come back. I want to talk about which program is most likely to bounce back from a crappy year. And a couple of them are going to play each other in the non-conference.